The amazing thing about this house turning 100 is that it almost didn't.
It's a community treasure.
I think it's important to keep the history of how you've evolved as a community around you, and it gives you a great place to have a party.
"100 years for any house is an important milestone, but for the Duke Mansion that has suffered a fire, been legitimately considered for demolition, had its future debated in the media, endured the indignity of being turned into condos, this landmark moment is even more worth celebrating."
Making this last is not about saving an old house. People are not going to get inspired about restoring and saving an old house and put it in a glass box, and you can look at it from outside, but you can't touch it, you can't experience it. We tried to create something that would give people an experience, let them use the house, let them enjoy the house, community-wide, let them come here, appreciate this place, and use it, have personal experiences here.
As I looked at the 100th year celebration of the Duke Mansion and the Lee Institute, what was most compelling to me was how people wanted to tell stories about their experiences. They were married here. They met their husband or wife here. They were here for special moments and special occasions. So that history just lives on, and how people have contributed to make sure that history will be relevant in the future.
This was a fun house, a place that we could enjoy because we had little kids, and they actually got to roller skate in the hallway out there.
Built in the new suburban neighborhood of Myers Park in 1915 by the Taylor family, it was home and host to leaders throughout the 20th century. Its most famous owner was James Buchanan Duke. Buck Duke used the Duke Mansion as his home base to launch his most lasting legacies: Duke Energy, Duke University, and the Duke Endowment.
He decided to buy this house, and this became his southern base. He was doing a number of different things. He was working on the success of the Southern Power Company, then became Duke Power Company, and he was also formulating his final vision for his great philanthropy, which was ultimately the Duke Endowment. It's an honor for all 15 trustees and all the trustees that have gone before us to do the work of the Duke Endowment and to fulfill Mr. Duke's vision, and I think to have a real impact on the two Carolinas and the lives of all Carolinians.
One of his primary goals in buying this house was that he wanted Doris to know her southern roots, to understand where she came from, where her family had come from, and to learn some manners, as he said, from the little southern girls, which I thought was a great compliment. Mr. Duke decided that Doris needed some playmates, so he scoured the neighborhood in Myers Park, and within 3 blocks, he found 5 little girls exactly Doris's age and invited them over to play with Doris. One of those little girls was my mother. So as a result, my mother and I both knew Doris. I doubt that too many people still living that knew Doris.
Now, all aspects of Charlotte carry a certain amount of history.
And, of course, our history is so rooted in the economic development of this region. Mr. Duke helped bring the power that supported the mills and radio stations, and so it really is a history lesson in how Charlotte developed.
The mansion represents to me that kind of can-do attitude where people came in and they said, we're going to build something, and that legacy lasts today.
The 100th anniversary was a time to bring the community in and join in on our year-long celebration. Launched with a birthday party on New Year's Eve 2014, the year included a special family reunion. We welcomed descendants from every one of the owner families except for the very first family. To date, we haven't solved the mystery of connections to the Taylor family. The families came together to enjoy the home, connect and reconnect with each other, and remind all of us of how their family is a part of the story.
We're going to take about 10 pictures. Make sure we get a good one. Everybody right here, 1, 2, 3.
The family reunion was a very special day of getting all the families that had ever lived here. Everyone came. So some of the people that I grew up with next door, some of the Cannon family, I hadn't seen in 30 years. So that was fun. It was just fun to see everybody, and they were all so pleased to see the house.
I would come up when the Linebergers lived here, and I knew them, and I just loved the place just because I knew my grandparents had lived here. It's very nostalgic. I've always looked at the house and driven by the house and been in the house.
It's fun to see how different it is and still how the bones of the place are the same. I remember being in what is now the little sitting room to the left as you come in the entrance, sitting on my grandfather's lap in that room where there was a radio, and the radio is still there.
Standing in the grand hall, talking to friends and people that we've known for so many years, I actually didn't feel like I'd ever left. I actually felt so at home that it was fine. I was expecting everyone to leave, and then Rick and I would turn and go into the kitchen and put our glasses down and go up to our suite.
I think every time I come back, I feel like it is home. It is, and I think it's a home for a lot of people in the community. And certainly when we came back with our family, they had such remembrances of being here, and it was amazing circulating with the other families who felt just about the same way. And we were all a big family who had joined in preserving the mansion for all the many, many years.
In August, we threw open the doors and invited the community to celebrate for an entire weekend.
This whole year we're celebrating our 100th anniversary, and we decided a year ago when we began planning that we wanted to make sure that the people of Charlotte got a chance to come in and see all the rooms, including bedrooms, and tour the gardens, a lot of which are brand new, and really get a sense of the place.
What a great example to see when we've got 1,200 people coming to an open house. I mean, that is just a tremendous accomplishment for everybody.
This is the first time we've been inside in here, and we definitely think it's pretty damn nice.
One of the goals of the 100th anniversary was to open up the Duke Mansion more to the community. A new master plan for the grounds with some 20 garden rooms was designed by Laurie Durden, a visionary landscape designer. The gardens are experienced along the Halton-Zimmerman path that allows people to walk the entire grounds from Hermitage to Ardsley Road. The new gardens and the connecting path make it possible to enjoy the Duke Mansion even when the interior might be hosting the wide range of meetings and events that are critical to the economic sustainability of the mansion as a nonprofit. The gardens are open nearly all the time and ready for people to stroll and enjoy. Hundreds of new trees were added to the grounds as part of the 100th anniversary plan. Preserving, enhancing, and protecting the historic tree canopy is a vital goal. The grounds as a whole are named for Mary D.B.T. Siemens, great-niece of Buck Duke.
She was truly one of the remarkable North Carolinians of the 20th and 21st centuries. Compassionate and warm, she was the conscience, if you will, of the Duke Endowment for over 50 years as a trustee. And it was our honor as trustees to make a gift to the mansion to name the grounds for her. She was a great lover of gardens as well.
When I think of a southern mansion, you always think of the gardens. There's a real sense of pride in what the team's accomplished.
I feel very proud that it's evolved into this beautiful piece of property that it is, with the new gardens, with the interior renovations that have happened here. There were some rocky times along the way, and with good leadership around here and a great team, it's survived. And I hope that it continues to survive and thrive.
The transformation around the grounds has just been absolutely remarkable, and so that's probably been the most exciting thing to see.
I am so proud of the gardens and how we've opened it up to the public, because now we can show the things that we've done. I think it is a give back. It's a gift to the community.
The 100th anniversary celebration also matters to the Lee Institute, our active programming arm.
As much as the mansion was about saving something historic, the Lee Institute It's about doing something that's historic.
The Lee Institute works for community change by supporting and building the capacity of other nonprofit organizations, growing and connecting leaders through the American Leadership Forum, and engaging people from all over the community in critical issues through civic engagement.
Bill Lee was just a great example of a leader in Charlotte, one of a small group of individuals who took this community by the horns, if you will, brought it together and planned out what a really modern, beautiful city could be like and what could be a real asset to the whole country.
He looked at things as they addressed the entire community, not just the interest of a Duke Power Company or individual segments of our community. Bill looked at everything in a non-biased, homogeneous way as to what fit the community.
He had this gift of making you feel, when he was talking to you, like you're the only person on the planet left. He was really dialed into you. And he had this way of making you kind of want to do what needed to be done.
The Lee Institute is probably what's more exciting to me simply because of its role in the community and its ability to influence change in our community. It's a great organization with great people trying to do good things for our community.
They're very strategic. They engage the community and collaborate in a way that gets you to the point of achieving your goal.
Olin Nisbet was an early advocate, friend, and a significant, important supporter of the effort to preserve the Duke Mansion and create the Lee Institute. To honor his legacy of leadership and commitment, the Olin Nisbet Action Fund has been established through the generosity of Olin's family and friends.
My father would be very proud of it, just because it has an entrepreneurial spirit, which he had, and really allows the Lee Institute to take on projects where there might not be an identifiable funding source. So is a great catalyst for the community to create change or foster some great ideas.
Now that we have celebrated the first 100 years of the Duke Mansion, what about the next 100 years?
Scientists are saying that children born today will live to be 100 years old. So I expect that the walls of this place will still be here. What will be different will be the people.
Well, I think it's going along on a really good path right now.
We've got the endowment in place. We've got the wind at our back on a lot of these issues where for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been trying to figure out how to solve problems. Now, the problem we have is how to take us to the next level.
If the Queen of England came to Charlotte, where would she stay? And she would stay at the Duke Mansion. You just hope and pray there are going to be people that come after us that want for our city what we wanted, because I feel like we've been good stewards of our community. If we don't leave anything else, then we've done that.
Seeing the people here enjoying the house and the grounds was what my family always wanted.
What excites me is the innovation and creativity. Nothing is ever status quo. What is the next idea that keeps the Duke Mansion and Lee Institute contemporary, relevant, and making meaningful impacts in our city and with our people?